What is going on, guys? Welcome to Rants Red Talk, where we discuss all the topics that you send through to me on Twitter. And yeah, there's some good questions here. It's been a good week. Man's off to Barcelona in a bit, so man's gassed. I'm buzzing in it. So I was meant to put this out for you, man, yesterday, but hey, you'll be watching this on Friday, fam. I didn't get my total football out on Tuesday as planned, so it's going out on Wednesday. So it's going out on Thursday, so this will go out on Friday. But obviously, man's filming this just before I get on the plane. You get me? So boom. By the time you be watching this, I'll be in Barcelona. So big up yourselves, man. First question is from at United Forever 3. What's happening with De Gea's contract? Since he hasn't been in form in a long time, would you let it run down and buy a goalkeeper that is suited to the modern game? You know what it is, yeah? I was told that De Gea signed his contract already and I was sent a screenshot in the group chat, but guys are telling me they checked and that, that is bug and that he hasn't signed a contract. The thing is with De Gea, yeah, his form's so shit that we're not going to get the money that we want for him. We're just not in it. So I feel like we've missed the boat on De Gea. And when he does finally move on, we're going to lose money on him. Like I've come to that acceptance, unfortunately. With De Gea, it's a mad one because I genuinely think he wants to leave, and that's why his form's shit. Like I've said this many times. Remember when LVG was there and he was stalling over the contract, and then we played Valdez instead and dropped De Gea? Once De Gea's heart is not in it, his performances go down, and that tells me that he's got a very bad attitude. A lot of people don't talk about David De Gea's attitude, but it clearly stinks, man. And I've heard from people that have contacts from within the club, do you know what I mean, that his attitude is questionable. But obviously his face doesn't fit, so he doesn't get the same criticism of a Pogba or a Martial or whatever when man say, oh, Martial sulks and this, that and the other, and he don't smile. But De Gea don't smile that much either, and nobody cares that De Gea don't smile, do you know what I mean? So again, it's just stereotypes. But for me, with David De Gea, if he doesn't want to be here and somebody's willing to pay the money, the problem is no one's willing to pay the money that Woodward wants for David De Gea, because he probably still values De Gea as one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but his form doesn't suggest that he is. So it's a very tough one. So I feel like De Gea will sign it. I don't think De Gea is worth 350 grand a week that he wants, because he's not playing at that level. For a modern day goalkeeper, he doesn't tick enough of the boxes to be worth that. But if you're asking me, would I let it run down? I wouldn't let it run down, because I would want to get as much money for him as possible, because you're going for a Jan Oblak or something's going to cost man 90 million euros. So you want to at least get that for David De Gea, so you can spend that money on a goalkeeper of that ilk. Because if we're doing what we're doing with other players, like releasing the De Gea and then bringing in the Henderson U or something like that, bruv, man are downgrading and that's all dead. So for me, no thank you, innit? I'm not running down the contract. Either I'm selling him and getting decent money for him, or he's signing a new deal, because to replace a David De Gea in this market is going to be very expensive and it's going to be very hard. He's one of them players that you just give the contract to because it's hard to replace. Let me know. The Green Devil, Brad, keeps coming up, man. He comes with the good questions. What can I say? I reckon we were unable to spend effectively due to the second highest wage bill in Europe. With that in mind, do you think we'll go into the January market now is significantly lower? I've got to believe we'd have bought more if the window stayed open as long as the European one. You're right. I think the wage bill, absolutely. Because it's Manchester United as a business. So when you get Smalling off the books and you get him on loan, you get Sanchez off the books, even though they're paying some. You get Lukaku, who was on a lot of money, off the books, and all of these mans. It does bring the wage bill down. Correct. I don't think, though, that we're going to be doing a lot of work in January. I did say, guys, I would go for Christian Eriksen if he still hasn't signed a new deal at Tottenham. I'd go for him. Fling in 40 mil, you'll get him. He's in his last 12 months. He's not going to sign a new deal. If Eriksen doesn't move before the end of the European window, which doesn't look like he is, United have to go back in full steam ahead for Christian Eriksen in January. Yes, he will be European Cup tied and all that, but it doesn't fucking matter, to be honest, because if we can't win the Europa League without Christian Eriksen, we weren't going to win it with him. Like, do you know what I mean? He's a good player, he'll make a difference, but not enough for us to win the fucking Europa League. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, honestly, I don't think we're going to do much in January. I don't. I'll be very, very surprised. And if we do, it will be a panic thing because we're flailing because we haven't started the season well. But I don't expect a lot of movement in Jan. Let me know what you think, guys. At Ryan Al Hamoud, what's Rashford's best position? Because he performs terribly in every position. I don't know what his best position is. He doesn't know what his best position is. I know where I would play him though. I would play Marcus Rashford on the right. My reasoning for that is because if you give Marcus Rashford too much time, he don't know what to do. If you give him too many options, he don't know what to do. So when you play someone on the right wing, you take all their options away from them. Go down the outside and cross the ball, bro. Or come inside and pass it, blood. Do you know what I mean? At least he can't be cutting in and shooting, blood, because that cutting in and shooting is annoying. At least I'll take that out of his game if I play him on the right, because he's not going to cut in and shoot with his left. So for me, I'll play him on the right-hand side. He'll be a better team player if you play him on the right-hand side, because you take away the greed options from him. You see what I mean? Because if he's going down the outside, it's to produce a cross for the team. If he comes inside, he can't shoot, so he'll pass it. So, like, yeah, I think that he would have a better output on the right. That's just my logic and my reasoning. Because he's definitely not a striker, because he doesn't have the movement, the IQ, or the composure for that. And in terms of on the left, his decision-making and that, and his greed means that it's detrimental to the team and you're hitting P-rollers from 35 yards. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. At Jadesy underscore Styles 05. Do you believe United should invest in January to add to the midfield so we can secure some depth? Also, you're a brilliant YouTuber, always on top of your game. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, my bro. Thank you. And yeah, we already touched on January. I think that United should definitely do business in January, but they won't. They won't. Our midfield is a well-known weak point, but Ollie and Woodward knew that going into the season. They knew this. None of this is new to them. So I don't expect any movement unless Eriksen's available or unless their man are on a panic thing because Ollie's getting clarted, yeah, and we need reinforcements. But I'd say they have to go through till January now. You don't really get any good deals in January. And yeah, I think Alexis Sanchez showed that. Again, he was one that was in his last year of the contract and we moved for him because he became available. Eriksen would be a similar situation. However, Eriksen's younger. He's more consistent and you know what you're going to get with Christian Eriksen. He's not a maverick. He's not a flair player. Eriksen is very similar to Kevin De Bruyne in the sense that these men are just got a very methodical, consistent way of playing football. I'm not comparing them as footballers, but I'm saying their style in terms of their output and their numbers is very like no fancy stuff, straight to the point, efficiency. So with Christian Eriksen, you know any team he's playing in, you can expect a similar output or a higher output. Let me know what you think in the comments. At Labille underscore life, Ollie to see out his contract and in that time get rid of the dead wood and develop the young players, then give the job to Poch. Would you be happy with that? For me, when you say develop young players, I don't think Ollie's developing these players. I think Ollie will give these guys a chance, but I don't think he can develop players like that. I don't think he's a great coach. Like, developing players is not just a technical thing. It's a mental thing. The way that Sterling's been developed by Pep Guardiola is up here. He's developed his thinking. And that's because Sterling's intelligent enough to take that on board. I don't think that Ollie can develop these young players technically because I don't think that he's a technical coach. Even as a player, Ollie wasn't a technical player. He was an efficient player, bruv. Ollie was a very good finisher. He was very composed. He was very good at being in the right place at the right time. But he wasn't an overly techie player, like, do you know what I mean? So it's just one of them ones where I don't think he's going to develop them that much, bro. Like, I just don't see it. I think that he will give them the opportunity to shine and it will be down to them. But I don't think these men are going to develop. In terms of finishing, he might be able to help these men develop in terms of movement in the box and all that. But if you're not a striker, I don't see how Ollie develops these players in terms of style of play, because Ollie doesn't really have a style of play. I think what I've gathered from listening to Ollie and watching him is just that he likes his teams to press high, work hard and run a lot. That's all I've really gathered from it. That's not a criticism of Ollie. I'm just saying, stylistically, you can tell what managers like. Like with Mourinho's always doing this. He likes his teams to be compact and hard to break down because that's his thing. Do you know what I mean? Pep likes these guys to move the ball quickly and fluidity. Oli just likes men that run a lot. That's why he likes Jesse Lingard, innit? So, as far as development, I don't really know about any of that shit. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. And that's just me being honest, innit? Like, that don't mean I don't want Oli to do well at United or I don't respect him as a Manchester United legend. I do. But I feel like I do myself a disservice if I lie and say politically correct things, yeah, just out of my love for the football club or my love for him as a person. Because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as a person, man. I think that you could tell he's just a really good man, good heart and all that. But I just don't think technically as a coach that he's levels. And there's nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? It's not personal with Ole. All right, next one. Luke Andrews, how do we solve the imbalance in the midfield? Would you drop Fred into the team alongside Pogba and play Garner behind them in a 4-3-3? Personally, I think people are sleeping on Garner. He could be a brilliant deep lying playmaker to dictate the game and move the ball well. Thoughts? Bro, I think that's what they wanted Longstaff for, to be honest. Yes, Garner could possibly be that guy in the future, but he's not ready now. To say throw Garner into the first team now while they're struggling, that's a reach, blood. Do you know what I mean? There'll be more chance of seeing Andreas played there when Mourinho tried to turn Andreas into that kind of player. And at the time, I said, yo, Andreas ain't a DM. I don't like that Mourinho's doing it. But I saw the reasoning behind why Mourinho done it. And the reason why Mourinho wanted to play Andreas as a number 6 is he's not good in congested areas where man are pressing him. He's slow on the ball. At least when you play deeper as a DM, you get a bit more time to kind of do your half term and distribute. And Andreas is a decent passer of the ball. So Mourinho probably looked at Andreas and said, you know what? He's got the attributes to play there. He does. But he don't read the game well enough to play there. That's the only thing. So for me, Garner's not ready. I think he will definitely be a good player in the future, whether that's at Manchester United or anyone else. But he's not there at the moment. So I don't think that that's the thing to do. I do agree on bringing Fred in. I would even bring Fred in as alongside McTominay, bruv, and play Pogba in a more advanced role. I wouldn't say the 10 because Pogba doesn't play like in an out-and-out 10, but a more advanced role. Or, do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind seeing Fred employed further forward as the 10. Like I said, that he can play there, bruv. He can shoot with both feet. He can pass with both feet. He's quick, so he's good for the press. Put it this way, if Fred played in a similar style to Jesse Lingard, he can carry the ball and dribble. He can shoot better than Lingard. He can pass better than Lingard. There's no reason why Fred can't do the Lingard thing. Have a think about that. Because that's what I would do, personally. Like, it would either be between Fred or Pogba for that more advanced midfield role. Let me know what you think about that as well. At Samuel_Idele. Do you think Oli will change this one-dimensional style of football? Because this will kill us all season, especially at Old Trafford. Honestly, I don't. I don't think Oli knows any other way to play. I don't, unfortunately. And I do think that this counter-attacking football, yeah, is for small teams, blood. It's for small teams away from home and that. People say, yeah, United have always been a counter-attacking team. But no, we haven't, bruv. Like, United counter-attacked well under Sir Alex Ferguson, but we weren't just a counter-attacking team, bruv. Because we had players like Paul Scholes and Roy Keane that could keep the ball. David Beckham that could keep the ball. If there wasn't a cross on, Beckham would come inside, play like an inverted right midfielder and keep the ball ticking along the midfield, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Ryan Giggs was the only player that wasn't like a possession-based player. He would try and do the different thing and go past people. But it was just Giggsy. The other three midfielders kept the ball. So I don't believe that Manchester United were always a counter-attacking team. They were not. The difference is with that Manchester United side, when they did have a chance to break, they broke very quickly, bruv. Even when you think to the 2008 team where you say Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez, you still had Scholes and Carrick in there. These are possession, man. Do you see what I'm saying? These are possession, man. So when people go on, like say Man United never used to like keep the ball well and they always used to hit man on a break, that is not true. Like, the counter-attacking side of Manchester United's game was definitely highlighted more because we scored them breakaway goals all the time. But when we needed to see a game out and control the tempo of the game, we had Scholes and Carrick. And them man are tickers, fam. You know what I mean? Them man are the pacemakers in football. We don't have a pacemaker at the moment. They want Pogba to be the guy that ticks the game over, but Pogba's got way more to his game than his passing, and also Pogba's an attack-minded player naturally. So because of that, he doesn't want to sit deep and dictate play. That's not who he is. That's what Xavi does. That's what Pirlo does. Do you know what I mean? And Pogba played with Pirlo. Pogba wasn't the Pirlo at Juventus. So man are expecting Pogba to do way too much, guys. And that is because people are not understanding this football thing. It's one thing watching football and it's another thing understanding it. And a lot of people are not understanding it. So you're right, this style of football will kill us. It's one-dimensional and it's tailor-made for teams to sit back with a low block and just stifle us. Let me know what you think in the comment section, my guys. At Torsif Zaman, why do people keep saying Pogba is crap defensively? Not saying he's amazing, but he's solid when he puts his mind to it. E.g. versus Liverpool last season and generally for France. Where do you think the root of this problem comes from? Love the show. Keep it up. I think there's a number of things. I think Pogba's got such a laid-back, languid style. Like the way he runs is very Vieira-esque. Like they just glide across the ground. So because of that, it looks like he's not trying. And you know in England, they love a fucking blood and guts trier, innit? Pogba does try, but Pogba doesn't look like it. Pogba's gait, yeah? Pogba runs like this. And he just opens his legs and he glides. And he's quick, bruv. But he's not, but he's quick over a long distance. Like even last game against Southampton, he picked up the ball and carried it like 30 yards and he just broke through, glided. That's what he does. Diaby was similar for Arsenal as well. Like, them men have that long stride and they just, you know what I mean? Yaya Toure was the same. They just glide through across the pitch. And because it doesn't look like Pogba's offering blood and guts, man try to say Pogba's lazy. But in the World Cup, when France won the World Cup, I think N'Golo Kante was the only player that won more interceptions than Paul Pogba. Like, in the whole tournament, bruv. Like, he wins interceptions, he wins tackles. So the fact that Pogba, they're saying Pogba's not good defensively, that's bullshit. Pogba's not very disciplined defensively because he's not a defensive player. But he's not shit defensively because he offers a lot defensively. When you take Pogba out of that midfield, they'll be get overrun by any midfield in the league. Any midfield, bruv. I don't care what top or bottom of the table, bruv. That's how much of a difference Pogba makes in there. His legs, his reading of the game, his physicality, all of these things. So this whole Pogba lazy, not good defensively thing, even the stats don't suggest that, because defensively, he's one of our best players in terms of interceptions and duels won and all of these things. So the Pogba agenda is, there's a lot of racial fucking undertones to this lazy rhetoric that goes around, because Pogba's not lazy because he covers more ground than anyone else on the pitch, but man still want to call him lazy. Like, there's loads of things. It's a combination of people not understanding the game and what they're watching. There's obviously racial undertones to it. Do you know what I mean? And people generally don't like him and they just want to criticize him because of his off-field antics because they don't understand, man. But the proof is in the numbers. Man can't say that Pogba's not good defensively, bruv. Like, it's not true. He's just not defensively disciplined because he doesn't want to fucking defend all the time. It's that simple. You put an attacking player to defend, they can still do it, but they're not going to do it to the level of a player that likes playing defensively. Even McTominay's not a defensive midfielder. And you see that by his positioning, sometimes he gets caught out. McTominay is more comfortable on the edge of the opponent's box than he is on the edge of our box. McTominay thinks he's a number 10. He does. And even Matic wants to run forward. So really, we don't really have a deep lying midfielder in the squad. We've got men that are playing there, but they're not really that. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Very, very good question. All right. Last but not least, at Matthew Jakov, Jakov, Jakov or something. In the game against Southampton, the last 10 minutes, Oli brought in Matic in order for Pogba to play in the number 10 role, and he looked really good in that role. Why doesn't he just stick with that? I don't know, guys. That's all I have to say on that one. You know what I mean? That was a nice, easy question. I don't know, because as I said on the last Flex and Rant show, Oli got the Manchester United job off the fact that Pogba was playing in the most advanced midfield role, scoring and assisting at will. That's how he got the job. And then he got the job and he's abandoned all those principles and gone back to a double pivot of Pogba deep. You're wondering why you're not getting the results you got before, bruv. Because you're playing man in a different role, blood. And he was the main reason why you got the job in the first place. It makes no sense. I'm not going to complain to you that it does, or I know why Ollie's doing this. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But all roads point to Lingard favoritism and wanting to play Jesse down the middle. Because nothing else makes sense. Obviously, Ollie's seen that Lingard's not good enough to play on the right. He doesn't have the attributes. So, he's bought a right winger. And then, he's moved Lingard inside, which means Pogba has to drop back. That's all I can think. Because nothing else makes sense. I wish I could answer that for you any other way, guys. But it's... I just don't understand. I'm confused. Now, I mean, I really want it to work for Ollie, but I feel like a lot of these decisions that he's making it hard on himself. He's making it hard on himself. If you know Pogba's our best player, why not just play him in his best position? Why not? Because from what we lose defensively, we'll gain something offensively. I don't mind seeing Pogba playing deeper against like the top 6 teams if we need to be sure. But against these smaller teams, bruv, let Pogba run riot. Riot. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell him, yo, you don't even need to defend. Just go and win me the game, Pogs. You know what I mean? And I'll tell McTominay and Fred, listen, you man don't get in front of the football. Don't go past the ball. Leave it to Pogba. That's all you need to do. That's really all you need to do. Because Paul Pogba is capable of winning a game on his own. So I don't understand what Ollie's doing. But, do you know what I mean? I hope that he turns it around, bruv, because these numbers are looking horrible. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Big up for all your for all your input, man. Like, I love doing these shows for you guys. Obviously I can only give you my opinion from the way that I see football. That's all I can do. Do you know what I mean? There's no right or wrong answers, but I feel like I try and be as objective as possible, and I appreciate the feedback, man. Like, I'm loving the dynamic between us guys and also the comments, and the fact that you're being respectful to each other in the comments. I like that as well, man. So keep the comments coming. Mad love to all you guys. I am going to pack my bags and I'm getting on a Rashford aeroplane. So mad love to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video as usual. Make sure that you add up all the socials. Obviously, Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and smash the like button. I appreciate you guys. Peace.